And the last update for this morning is really painful because it's one more sign of the growing contrasts of American capitalism. As it declines, it becomes more and more unequal. That's why the tensions in our society are rising. That's why the social problems are getting worse. That's why the incompetence or inability of our leaders to cope is becoming so much more obvious. I want to share with you a study newly completed toward the end of last year, 2022, produced in and by the University of Southern California, USC, and in particular, the medical school there, known as the Keck, K-E-C-K, Keck Medical School. A study was undertaken of Los Angeles County in California, a study of its food insecurity problem. In other words, hunger. What is the problem of hunger? How many people are not able to get enough food to live a normal, healthy life? That is what they were studying. Why now? Because they knew already at the end of last year that in March of 2023, that's right, just a very small time ago, would be the last month that about 1.4 million people in Los Angeles County alone would no longer get their pandemic-era supplements in terms of funds for food, the SNAP program, or what we used to call food stamps. The eligibility for them was not renewed. Thank you, Mr. Biden, Democrats and Republicans. So the 1.4 people who receive these supplements won't. All the affected households will get at least $95 less per month to buy food than they used to, and some will get as much as $250 less per month to buy food. 37% of the poor in LA, those 1.4 who were getting food stamps of one kind or another, 37% of them, over a third of the poor, right, experienced food insecurity last year. In other words, they were poor enough that they didn't know whether they would have enough food at their next mealtime, and often experienced insufficient food to get by. 33% of Black and Latino families versus 11% of white families experienced food insecurity. Let me stress, if you have that many people that are in trouble financially getting food stamps, and you have this number that are hungry, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of people in one county, Los Angeles County, big county, but one county, are having trouble with their food. 40% of food insecure households included children. If you know anything about nutrition and the human body, you'll know that children suffer all kinds of long-term difficulty if they're not given enough food. The immorality of this, I can't even begin to touch it. The absurdity in a country as wealthy as ours, which just committed over $100 billion to a war in another country, but cannot deal with the people who haven't enough food. Those of you who take morality or ethics seriously, I'll leave to you finding some way to justify something as outrageous as all of this. I'm an economist, so I want to comment on the irrationality of a system like this. You don't feed people enough, you make every other physical, medical, mental health problem worse. Everybody knows that. Countless statistics confirm it. We are going to create an entire generation of people presenting all kinds of physical and mental health problems, costing this society vast amounts of money to give them the medical care they'll try to get for the diseases we could have made less serious or avoided had we dealt with the problem of hunger when they were kids. Come on. It's immoral, it's irrational, and it's a financial waste. The cost of keeping rich people rich is becoming unbearable in this declining capitalist system.